so I was so I was like writing this shit that was like John John
Welcome to the 15th episode of the Cast That Ends Creation. I'm Chris Deering, your host, and this is the show where I interview mathcore adjacent bands. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to drop them in the chat, and I'll be trying my best to read them aloud. If you're listening to this in your car, watching this on YouTube, have no idea what I'm talking about, the show is first shown live on Twitch at twitch.tv/the Cast That Ends Creation. Join us for the live cast every Wednesday and Sunday. With that out of the way, let me introduce our guest tonight, who dropped 2 sick EPs, Mimic Prophecy and Stygian Blue, this year back in August and October, respectively. Welcome in Nigh Ungodly. How you guys doing?
Thank you so much. Very well, thank you.
Don't forget, we also dropped Last Christmas as well, our Christmas single.
You did? That's a remaster, right?
Yes. Also a re-recording in some respects. Cole's on the track and Katie's on the track now, where before they were not. The first time we put it out, Cole wasn't in the band yet, and Katie didn't have guitar stuff set up, so I did all the recording, and we used MIDI bass and MIDI drums. Obviously, all the stuff's programmed on drums. But
sick! I didn't realize that they were added on to this.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's sick.
It's fun.
Well, tell us who you are, what you do in the band. Tell us who you are, what you do in the band.
Sean?
I'm the vocalist. I do all the screaming, the grunting, the noises. I've also, up to this point, have done a lot of the mixing and producing for all of our music. But we can talk more about the upcoming music later, but that's pretty much what I'm doing.
Well, you know what? Don't be so modest. You also added your writing currently too. You're helping with the writing a lot.
Yeah, them interludes and
the upcoming stuff,
fun audio stuff.
Yeah, engineering a lot of the synth sounds and composing stuff for stuff. Also, an entire track for the upcoming LPs he's worked on, and it's one of the cooler ones for sure.
Thank you.
But I work on composing everything. I put the bass work into the compositions. I set up all the tempo mapping and kind of half the side syncopations and polyrhythms and stuff. So I work a lot with the other instruments as well. And then I ship it off to the other members to take a look at it and change whatever they want. And creative input is the most necessary thing to me. And then I finish it up and then send it back out, and then they all do their thing. So it's kind of a neat process. And then I record guitar for rhythm parts, and Katie does most of the leads and etc. So that's my part in the band, really.
What about you, Cole and Katie?
Right. And I am Cole. Yeah, I'm Cole Daniels. I'm bass guitar, bass guitar, bass guitar. I try to throw in some compositional ideas to help with Vanna's ideas. I try to contribute whatever I can, but just a bass player and just member of the band. Yeah.
And I play the lead guitar.
Alrighty. You guys have been around for a little over a year. Well, I guess it's more than a little over a year, actually. I was looking back at your Facebook. It's like a year and a half now, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, origin stories. Jeez.
So, kind of a short time span, but you guys have made a pretty big impact in that time. Give us a brief history of the band.
So me and Sean started it, actually. I was ghostwriting, and I had a special going, $20 a piece. And he hopped on to, I think he was the second one that purchased one. And I wrote it, and he sent me this list of bands, and it was a playlist of 5 bands I told him to send me. And he sends me Beyond Creation, First Fragment, Black Dahlia Murder. Who else was on that play? Infinite
I think I
Annihilator.
sent like an Infant Annihilator song on there as well.
Yeah,
And you were
yeah.
just like,
He was the
"What?"
last one. There was one more too. I can't remember.
I think it was I can't remember honestly either.
It was definitely clowncore.
No, it wasn't. Yeah, that wasn't an influence yet on our music, but it will be later. So like I wrote the track and I sent it back. It took me like a month or something to write it, and I sent it back, and he loves it. And so it was Rhything Identity, and that's the first track on Mimic Prophecy after the intro. And so he bought a second one. And I talked him into it because I was broke, and I was like, hey, buy a second one. I need money. Send me money, and I'll start working on the second one. So he did. And so I started working on it, and that was Mirage. He sent me an equally absurd playlist, except possibly twice, maybe as bad, 1.5 times as bad. And I fucking wrote Slam Noodles, which turned into Mirage, and it was called Slam Noodles because it has that and it's like very slammy and noodly.
So I think I found one of the playlists that I did send you. It was Mental Cruelty, Protest the Hero, and Monuments that were part of that. So yeah, that doesn't say anything. Also,
So
Archfire was on there as well.
Well, then it was, from there, it was just writing the EP, finding other members, and we found Katie. Katie found us. And Katie came to me about something or another, and we were talking, and I don't know. I don't know if you remember where that came from or where that went.
You and I don't think you remember, but I saw you on the old Total Deathcore like group page, and that's how I knew your name. And I came back to you like maybe a year later and said, "Hey, we should make music together." And you were like, "Hey, I already have this project started with this sick vocalist. We should collaborate." And that's how I came about.
And then Cole, we were looking for a bassist, and I was actively searching for a bassist. I was looking at every music post where people were talking about bassists, and I was like, hey, I'm in a tech death band. It's low maintenance. We're internet band for now. Easy stuff. I'll write your shit for you if you don't have time. And so I sent this message personalized to Cole, and I told him that, and he was like, sure, all right, I'll try out. And I was like, great. And so he auditioned, and he rewrote the bass parts for Rhything Identity, and what was the other one?
He rewrote them pretty much for the entire EP because
I
we
mean,
were halfway through, like mixing that thing.
Well, no, what was the audition? There was 2 things. Oh shit! I'm getting like
Jesus
messages
Christ.
now. My bad. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
My audition
You're
song
good.
was Writing Identity. Actually, yeah, I completely rewrote pretty much that whole bass track, if I remember right. I basically just kind of like personalized it and made it kind of like I wanted to fit what the guitar is doing, but I wanted to be like its own like entity itself. I just wanted it to like really complement the overall composition.
Yeah, and your stuff really does have that like separation of instruments. A lot of bands just have everything kind of going together, but there's like you can easily pick out the bass in the recordings and like the different guitars doing different things at the same time. It's really freaking tight how you guys like put all this stuff together and it moves cohesively, but it's still like everything's got its own personality to it.
Oh,
Yeah, for sure. That's something that we like to try to do. We like to show off like our style, our influence, and just bring it to a big old mishmash.
So let's talk about influences. Oh, sorry.
All right. No, I've always thought that bass was never really heard very much in metal music, so I was like, well, I want to make sure Cole's heard.
Dude, exactly. Most bands just bury it.
Yeah.
I really wanted
Yeah.
to, I wanted to touch on that too, since we're on the topic. That's been my biggest gripe with most bands ever. Is I've been a big fan of like Dillinger and Between the Buried and Me. They're two of my biggest influences of all time since like 2005 or 2006. I heard them both around the same time, and knowing that each member is, and I come from like band in high school and stuff, so classical music obviously I love, and jazz and stuff. So like knowing that each member is supposed to be different, like the bass is supposed to be like the bassoon and the bass clarinet, and the lower end of things. It's not supposed to just copy the guitars. The guitars are like the flutes and the trumpets and stuff. And then the vocalist is like a trumpet or a flute or whatever carries a melody, or sometimes it's a percussive element. And so like I know that, and then lead guitar is supposed to, harmonize or be the melody. And I know these things, so like that's a big part of the composition. I always tell everybody in the band to write your own shit. Don't just follow along.
Yeah.
Write whatever you feel like feels right and natural and organic. And if it does copy me, that's fine. But like, try to stay away from that. Be your own voice in the band.
Hell yeah, that's awesome. Vanna, if you can tilt your phone up to the ceiling just a little bit more. I got a black bar going right across your forehead.
Uh-oh.
That should be good. Oh, if you can get the stop. Oh, there we go.
I gotta find a different angle then. The way I had it set up.
There we go.
Oh, there you go.
All right.
So you guys are spread across the country. Where are y'all from exactly?
So I am from Indianapolis, Indiana.
I'm from Peoria, Illinois.
Vanna? I am from a place called Rainbow City, Alabama, and it's in the middle of nowhere.
Is that really the name of the city?
Rainbow City.
That's awesome.
It is. It's not. It's not as gay as it sounds. It's like an industrial town.
That's wild.
It's even gayer. I'm from Metro Detroit. It's a place called Sterling Heights, but just outside of Detroit in Michigan.
Alrighty, so y'all kind of all over the place then. I saw that y'all were a Facebook post where y'all were saying that y'all weren't planning on doing shows for about 2 years or whatever. I guess it's going to be hard logistically just trying to get together even then, huh?
If COVID lets us ever even.
Yeah. I think the biggest thing with that is needing a drummer. I mean, we could technically play live with what we got, but I'd rather have a drummer with us.
I've seen a band that backtracks their drums because they don't have a physical drummer. They can make it work. So, like, we have.
No, we have plans to hire someone when the time comes.
It would be a whole lot cooler to hire someone, that's for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. We've looked at certain drummers. Forgive me, I don't remember some of their names. If somebody else does, they can help me out. But the guy who did drums for Necrophagist and Blotted Science, we're thinking about him.
God damn.
We're thinking about Elliot Hartman
Really?
of Carbine.
Goes is like, wait, what?
Yeah.
Really?
Alex
No shit.
Rudinger. Alex Rudinger
Yeah.
of the
Yeah,
Faceless,
that's
or
nice.
formerly of the Faceless, I think. And
Really?
yeah, are you kidding me?
Oh, shit.
Bryce Butler is on my list. He's high up on my list.
Okay.
Bryce Butler of The Contrarian, and oh god, I listened to one of his things like before I knew who he was, and I can't remember what it was now, but it was impressive. Abigail Williams. Been a big fan
Oh,
of
I've
Abigail
heard of that.
Williams since like 2005 or 2004 or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, those
I
guys
haven't
rip,
heard that
too.
name in years.
Oh, they're
Yeah,
still
so
around,
those
I
all
think, aren't they?
people around.
They are. I saw something about them on YouTube.
That's something from back in the
He's
day.
in like 15 projects right now, though. With COVID, he's really staying busy and getting that dough.
So, how did y'all come up with the name Nigh Ungodly? Is it just because it sounds sick as hell? Is that why I went with it?
So I was I was really into this band called A Lot Like Birds, and there's a song they have on one of their records called Next to Ungodliness. And I was like, I was in this weird little thing where I was thinking maybe like, song names would make good band names. And I thought Next to Ungodly would be a good one. And then Vanna pretty much tweaked it to actually sound like a good band name. So Nigh Ungodly is kind of born.
That's a freaking sick name, man. Let's talk about influences. I can hear. I'm not too into tech death nowadays, so I don't know all the fresh jams happening. But I definitely hear a lot of the faceless planetary duality going on. I guess the playlist that y'all were talking about was a good indicator of your influences. But what are some of the influences going into this?
Oh God, Cannibal Corpse, Between the Buried and Me. What's the one? Cattle Decapitation. Like old school stuff like Napalm Death I really get into for like the lower grungy or sludgy stuff. And like the really fast like slammy stuff that I do is a big influence. I don't know who else. Anybody?
Personally,
For me, like all of my leads.
Go ahead, Katie. Go ahead.
For all my leads, it's really you're right. It's like planetary duality, the faceless, and delusions of grandeur. I don't know if you've heard of them, but Gabe Mangold from that band, and he's in Enterprise Earth now. He's one of my favorite guitarists, and I write a lot of stuff influenced by him.
He's a really good guitarist too.
But like the Faceless, Archspire, kind of melodic bands.
Archspire, yeah. The Contortionist is big on my end for the genty stuff, for the really crazy rhythmic stuff with like a lot of space, like influencing space and time, Car Bomb and Viljarda, and like Gershwin. I don't know if you're familiar with like Symphony in Blue or Rhapsody in Blue. And I don't know, there's a lot of classical influence, like Nobuo Uematsu, who did like the Final Fantasy stuff, and Koji Kondo, who worked on like Mario and the Legend of Zelda stuff. That's a big influence on me.
Really? I wouldn't have guessed that. That's crazy.
Huge
the piano part in Last Christmas is like the main synth melody that comes up at the start of the song, but I took it and I tweaked it to make it like minor and diminished kind of. And then the part after that, like the underlying bass, the bass that's like climbing up and down, that's all like Final Fantasy influenced.
It's crazy. Fucking cold alien fingers tapping on that shit.
Yeah.
Well, not the bass guitar, the bass piano that's like doing that do. That's all like from
he kind of follows that though.
Yeah, I guess so.
More or less.
I personally am a little influenced by Infant Annihilator, Enterprise Earth, obviously Cattle Decapitation, especially after Death Atlas came out. I was fucking blown away by that.
Those are like three of my favorites.
Yeah, I was also highly influenced by Gent and some older metalcore. Those are kind of like closer to my base from where I came from. But other than that, that's usually about what I jam to. Oh, and there's a album from Cult of Cthulhu or Cult of Lilith that came out just this year that has also played a big influence on me recently, and I'd like to start implementing stuff like that they do.
That's a good one.
What do they do that's different from what you're doing now?
See, he adds a lot of pitch and tone into his screams, and he has very melodic screams.
Okay,
it's not like the biggest range, but like it's pretty tight from what he does. If you ever listen to them, I'd highly recommend checking out their album. They just came out with it, I think, like 2 months ago.
Oh, I need to look into that then. Shit, I've heard some vocalists that are very good at like making it almost seem like they're singing when they're screaming. That shit's hard to fucking do.
It's very hard to do.
So y'all kind of covered the writing.
Hey,
What's up?
Can I talk about my influences real quick?
Yeah, go for it. Oh, I'm
Please.
sorry. Yeah,
I
go
haven't
for
liked
it.
it.
I'm sorry.
We
Yeah,
skipped over
No,
Cole.
Cole, your bass. I'm
No.
just kidding.
I'm used to it. So like growing up, I listened to a lot of progressive rock bands like Yes and King Crimson and Genesis and stuff like that. So like I've always been like like old classic rock or like progressive like stuff. I've always been like interested in like songwriting that has like really like takes you somewhere for sure. And then when I got older, I found a bunch of like death metal bands I really liked. I got into the old school stuff like Cannibal Corpse and Death and Morbid Angel, Deicide. But I came across like the technical death metal subgenre, and I ate that shit all up. Like specifically like bass stuff off of like Beyond Creation or First Fragment and Cryptopsy. Stuff where like basically all the instruments like show like a lot of like prominence and like all a bunch of like awesome stuff like that. I like to try to like have my bass playing, complement the music, just like how those tech death bands and then like my like prog rock favorites like do as well. So that's what I kind of like try to do for my bass.
It definitely sticks out. Like I was saying, you can't hear bass on most like tech death bands and shit, and this one it's like kind of prominently featured. So yeah, it really sticks
Yeah.
out. It's really good shit, man.
It's important to us
Thank
to
you. Yeah.
let
It's very,
every member shine.
Hell yeah. So
Yeah,
Van. Oh, I'm sorry.
Audible bass is one of my favorite things. Like I love a band where you can hear the bass player. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
big time. Between the Buried and Me, like I said, is one of the biggest like
Yeah.
bottom level bass, Nigh Ungodly influences, obviously, for any given reason, Alaska especially as an album. But like the bass is so important. Dan Briggs is amazing. Like it's impossible to listen to the band and not hear the bass. So I want to give that same energy.
So Vanna, you write everything you were saying, and then everybody just like puts their own personal touch on it. Is that how the writing process goes?
Yeah, we've made a couple of things now with other members, but like mostly it's me. Like I said, Sean did. He's got an entire track that we've got to work on and kind of make playable and stuff. He's not a guitarist. It's very hard. Are you okay, Cole?
basically
it's a
how I
very difficult
remembered it
song.
was around the time when I joined the band in 2020. It was like a few months before we released Mimic Prophecy. Like that whole album was basically already written for the most part. Is that right, Vanna?
yeah, it was like early
we had
then.
all 5 songs written. It was
Yeah,
recorded.
it was mostly
It was ready
done.
to
So,
go.
I basically contributed my bass and it became the finished product that was. And Stygian Blue,
It took him a month, bro.
it was when I joined, we worked on it for like a month. I know you've had it done for like years.
I know. No, I only had it done for 1 year. We had it done for like maybe 8 or 9 months, and we were coming up on a year. And like, yeah, Rhythm Identity,
Yeah.
and then Mirage, and then it took us like another 6 to 8 months to write the rest of it. And then you came in, and then it took us like another month to get the rest of it to Sean to mix, and then another month or a month and a half to mix and master.
Yeah, it took about like a month and a half to get all put together and stuff, but definitely worth it because real bass sounds way better than MIDI bass.
It was so good, dude. And don't get me wrong, there's some programs that are really great, but it'll never fill the gap of a real bassist. Ever.
And then Stygian Blue, I remember that being like a more effort. I remember Katie bringing in some riffs, Vanna bringing in some riffs. I even wrote some guitar riffs, which is crazy. But
Yes.
yeah, that was.
You wrote what's been described as one of the heaviest goddamn breakdowns of the year.
Oh, cool.
I
didn't know I
fucking
had that
6
in me,
minutes.
but,
What's that track called, Sean?
Oh, also, Gore Guts is a huge influence of mine, and basically, that riff, I guess, is the riff of the year or something. That is very hugely Gore Guts inspired. So
It's what's that one called, Sean? That last it's like the second to last track that
Second, is it the Incredible Orchestra?
which one? Which
That's
one?
a good question.
the one that's
Yeah.
like chun 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 chun
Yeah.
chun.
Motus Motus Kincaid or something, because I decided to do it in Latin and make sure nobody could pronounce it.
I'm happy.
Well, that's actually a good segue because I was going to ask you about your lyrics and stuff. So the last single, I guess you could call it the single Stygian Blue. I assume that, to me, it seems like it's a story about like the birth of the Earth and then us destroying it and like the after effects and stuff, right? That's what's happening there.
Yeah, pretty much. That's pretty close. I pretty much had this. Katie and I kind of came up with the idea of duality and symmetry between life and death, how one begets the other and stuff. So it's essentially, I mean, got to kind of start somewhere. So I started with, just life expanding and growing, and that midway section with the like violins and stuff is kind of like almost like your midlife reaching in slowly reaching into death, and the last two parts of it are dying. So I pretty much wrote about the beginning of I would say maybe the universe, but that might be a little bit too big.
You can interpret it
The
any
Earth
which
might be a
way
better
you
example.
like. That's a great thing about music, is that you could be like, my interpretation's different than the person who wrote it, so fuck you.
Yeah.
Well, no,
I mean,
for sure. This
when
one
I
you could
write
definitely do
lyrics,
that. Yeah.
yeah, when I write lyrics, I try to be as ambiguous as possible. Like, yeah, I mean, I have an idea in mind when I'm writing it, but like your interpretation is also as valid. It could mean something completely different from somebody else. Like, it can mean anything.
Right.
We had the art before any of the lyrics or concept, and I came up with the idea of duality based on like the two different beings. One of them was like kind of evil looking and like sickly, and then you had the really strong, healthy guy coming out.
The Stygian.
So let's talk about the album cover. Who did the art?
Alberto Filipponi.
And he did the one
Filipponi,
for your other
yeah.
EP too, right?
Yes.
He's done all of our art so far.
Sorry.
Is he just a friend of you guys, or did y'all find him and thought he was just great, or how'd that come about?
The second thing first. We found him, thought he was great, and he became a friend, and now he's basically part of the lore for like the first two EPs, a single, and a cover. That last Christmas cover he did the art for. He did the art for Mimic Prophecy. He did the art for this shirt, the succubus, tits out. He did the art for Stygian, and he did the art. I said the single, but I didn't say the name, Aberrant Silhouette. And a lot of the album themes came from the art concepts. I came up with Mimic Prophecy from just lore from like Final Fantasy, especially. You walk up to the chest and poof, you're in a battle. And I thought that was magnificent. And like that concept translates to Dungeons and Dragons. I think it starts there. And then it moved on to like different stuff like RPGs when video games started getting popular, and tabletops, and then Dark Souls. The Dark Souls influence, I get it.
I was gonna
everybody
talk
sees
about that.
it.
Yeah, people keep saying that
Okay.
that's a mimic from Dark Souls on the cover of Mimic
Yeah.
Prophecy.
Yeah, it is. It is, and we're not afraid to embrace it. I looked at Google. I said, Google, show me a bunch of mimics. Show me the coolest mimics. And Dark Souls FromSoft does a great job with their art, and I think it's magnificent. I love H.P. Lovecraft. I got my Necronomicon right here, so like all
Nice.
the Bloodborne books and
My
games.
my friend has my Necronomicon. I don't have my Necronomicon with me right now.
Well, that's all right. You're sharing the love, craft.
Yes.
So
nice.
that's gonna be. I would like to tell everybody that like it is not so much Dark Souls reference as it is a reference to mimics and a reference to Lovecraftian horror. Yes, we used Dark Souls mimic as inspiration. We gave him extra arms and a body, and he's ripping a body. And his name is Nemesis, and he's in his own entity from his own universe. He's gonna have backstory. I've started writing. I've got like 200 words or something. But like it's gonna be its own thing and have its own lore. I don't want it entirely connected to Dark Souls. I want to, like it's been like this thing that's been latched to it since it came out, and like the Soul of Avarice is an Easter egg. It's like here's this fun little thing from Dark Souls that'll even like grab you more into the idea that it might be a Dark Souls thing, but it's like gimmicky.
I may have lifted that almost directly.
Exactly, and you were honest about it. And we're always honest about it, and we're very transparent about where the ideas come from. And Mimic Prophecy is no different. It has backstory and Easter eggs, and you can find its lore in other places, and it'll be fun. I hope.
So
I know absolutely Dark Souls.
Yeah, I'm not really into it either. I'm watching some streamers play through the new one because I don't know. I like watching people play fucking video games. So I'm kind of starting to get into it.
Me
I
too.
love Dark Souls.
Dude, yeah, I'm not much of a gamer myself. I play Magic the Gathering trading card game. I don't know if y'all know what I'm talking about, but that's the extent of my game playing.
I've
played all three of the Dark Souls. Being planning on getting that new Demon Souls as soon as I can. So
it looks fucking sick, man. Like I said, I've been watching people play through it. It's fucking sick, dude.
I mean, yeah, if you enjoy a challenge and maybe like getting mad at your video game once every 5 minutes, but once you get it,
there's been a lot of angry stuff going on. Yeah, a lot of angry streamers. So the recording process, you guys did it all yourselves, from what I understand correctly. Correct?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, how was that?
It is great. The thing is, you put the track in the box, and the box just goes pew out into the cloud, and they just rip it. Yeah.
Cole's good at his instruments, so it is that easy for him.
I basically record I plug my bass into my pedal board, and then my pedal board into my DAW into
your interface.
I'm a bass player. I'm sorry. Interface and a DAW. Sorry.
Classic bass
We
player.
all use Reaper. It's free. It's amazing.
Dude, Reaper's sick. That's what I used to.
Yeah, I use Reaper. And then Sean also asks me for dry tracks as well. So I send some stuff that's the bass not going into anything. And then I have some wet tracks as well, which is my bass into my pedal board. Basically, Sean likes to be a mastermind and try to come up with bass tones and stuff like that. And he's free to do so.
It also makes it easier to build a wall of sound behind the bass. If you have the sub and the what he likes in general to compare to and to tweak and etc., it makes it easy for the whole mix. Like I put a lot of the 2000 frequency. I learned that from Rivers of Nile. I do a lot of my tone is in my right hand, so I need a lot of mids. So I was watching an interview Dean Lamb from Archspire did with forgive me, I don't remember his name, but the guitarist from Rivers of Nile, and he was talking about his guitar tone, and he said, well, I really like to pump up to the 2000, somewhere around the 2.2 2000 frequency in hertz on my EQ. And so I took that and I ran with it, and I really loved the sound, and so now that's where I'm at with that. And so, like, if I got to get out of Cole's way or Cole's got to get out of my way or etc. in the mix, it's good to have every possible type of stem that Sean could possibly have. We all send too wet, too dry. Me and Katie often include a center. Anything that's too complicated just gets one. For layering purposes, things get muddy when they're not perfect. And we don't like to quantize too much. We like to humanize instead. So there's a lot of snapping without really paying attention to the grid, listening to what feels and sounds organic. And I want to stay away from that machine feel. So we don't really do a lot of digital stuff. Everything is like, yeah, we'll cut everything up and make it sound perfect, but subjectively so.
Yeah, basically we try everything that we can to have a good like variety of sound, basically shifting or molding dry tracks and then using wet tracks, basically just all that freedom with tone and frequencies and stuff like that. Obviously it'd be a lot easier to sound more organic if we didn't have to use programmed drums, because we don't have a drummer yet, but it's just
Well, honestly, the drums sound pretty good, like for being programmed.
okay,
They're fucking dope. Yeah.
Thank you. We put hours and hours and hours and weeks and weeks into those drums. So like a lot of it.
Yeah, I'd rather
from the
not
writing
like
that we do.
admit how long it took for me to work on the Mimic Prophecy drums. That was a long time.
Horrifying.
What
Yeah.
program did you use for the drums?
I did the drums on Mimic Prophecy, and I used Easy Drummer with their death metal pack.
Okay.
So
Easy Drummer.
it sounds
sick,
pretty
man.
good.
I love that program so much, man. I can't recommend it highly enough.
It was pretty good. It sounded good, but we had some issues with like the different song levels being different. And Sean said he had to like boost the bass drum.
Yeah,
I think a lot of that stemmed from the mixes and tones of different instruments changing between the songs, because some of the riffs called for tones that had never been heard before, and etc. There was so many different styles of riffs that like you can't keep one tone steady across the entire board. So there was so much automation on Sean's part to make that work, and enveloping and like just I can't imagine the file sizes of some of those projects. Sean's
I saw
For
a picture that
writing,
y'all
I
posted
pity.
on Facebook, and it looked like freaking barcode going across it.
Yes, I love the barcode picture. We do temperature and tempo changes, so that was what you were seeing was the map. Those lines represent on the snapping grid where one is for every measure. So like that's how you can see where every time signature and tempo change is. And there was 87.
Yeah, I think that was for
and
Stygian actually, because
no, it was
was-
Mimic Prophecy.
had all
It was Mimic
so many-
Prophecy, the title track.
Oh, it was, wasn't it? That's right. That
Yeah.
had so many times.
87.
so many changes.
So what
I
was
mean,
it
there
like
was
to-
some that were unnecessary, but when you're visualizing, when you're composing and you're visualizing where one is and where's the pocket, and you're trying to match the drums, the bass, and the guitar, and they're all doing different voices, because, as we said before, voicing is very important to us. You've got to find one, and you can't always make it 11/8. Sometimes it's got to be 7/8 and then 2/4, or 5/8, and like you can't always just do these certain patterns that make tempo mapping easier. tempo mapping is sometimes the hardest thing. That brings me to an important point about Mimic Prophecy. We had that recording that was a nightmare. Recording that was a goddamn nightmare. We fucked up a couple of parts when we were transferring the MIDI into the project file, and some of us had different mappings, and some of us tried
I
doing
remember
the
that.
import tempo map from MIDI in Reaper. When you used to try, the latest 2 updates fixed that, but when you used to try to do that, it failed every time. And somebody tried to do it. I'm not going to say who, Sean, and it fucked everything up. So he said, Sean, don't ever do that again. We'll just communicate better, okay? Just don't do it again.
We ended up fixing it.
We fixed it, but it took like a month and a half, 2 re-recordings, like at least 50 to 60 hours on like almost every member's part to get, or except for Cole, because Cole's good at his instrument, as I said before. Like 50 to 60 hours of rewriting on the drums and the guitar and the rhythm guitar, and then like Cole at least it had to re-record it once. And then it was like a good 4 or 5
we had an issue on Writhing Identity where the Guitar Pro track that we had written had a different breakdown than the final product.
I remember that. Yes. Yeah,
the
breakdown in Writhing Identity was just completely different, and I basically just learned it by ear because there was no tab for it.
Honey. No, honey. We're talking about Mimic Prophecy, the self-title or the title track of it.
No. It was Writhing Identity. We had the single out.
Yeah, Writhing had that issue, and along with Mimic Prophecy.
Yeah, we had the single
Mimic
for.
Prophecy had the word.
We had the old 2019 version of Writhing Identity, like recorded and released back in July or whenever, and that was totally different from what we had written on Guitar Pro. And so Cole had to go back. He had to go back and learn the breakdown from the old single.
It wasn't that bad, honestly, because it was just a single part, and I just
I still don't remember how to play the rhythm right as recorded because it's not pads.
So, Sean, you did all the mixing and mastering. How was that experience? Sean?
I gave mixing and mastering. Yes. Can you hear me? This is the first
totally
time I gave
missed
mixing and mastering. Okay.
Yeah, you're good. Oh, maybe not.
It was
Got some doggos on the cast.
Got a dog.
I think we're losing Sean.
Gave it an
She muted her mic.
Yeah, we definitely lost you, Sean.
I was beforehand. I would usually just kind of play around with it and stuff, but
we had him for a second. Okay.
Can you guys hear me?
You keep cutting out hardcore.
Of course. But for Mimic Prophecy, yeah, it was a long process because I had to. There's hours sitting in front of the computer with automation, making sure that like the EQing was correctly, because I would clip a crap ton, and then there was making sure I could hear all the instruments and stuff over each other or between each other, and mix something. It was very.
You might need to call back in or something. You're cutting out really badly.
Ouch.
So, okay, there we go. So, Cricket Slam says that he just wants you guys to write a pure slam song. So, when's the Nigh Ungodly slam song happening?
It's Mirage.
Is that
It's
better?
Mirage, silly.
Oh, we got
Um,
Sean
that-
back.
We can. Why not?
I mean, we have some stuff in the process. The new LP has some big riffs in it, so
You know what? Send us your snare samples. Send us your best slam snare samples, okay? And we'll write a pure slam song.
Sean, let's give you another go. How is the mixing and mastering going?
I'm game. Let's do it.
Are you-
Oh,
Long. It was
still no good.
tiring. Like automation and EQ acid myself was fun.
Yeah, you like come in for a couple of seconds and then you cut right back out. Cricket Slam says he'll send you a crack snare sample also, Vanna.
cool and good. I know specifically.
Am I cutting out again?
Remember?
Yeah, it's really bad actually. We can barely understand what you're saying.
Me or Sean?
Sean.
Sean.
Okay.
But what were you saying, Cole?
Sorry, I don't know why I keep cutting
remember,
out.
Sean talking about how much like work putting together Mimic Prophecy was with all the guitar tracks and the stems and midis and all that stuff, and then overcoming like some hurdles like issues with tempo maps or the drums not being sampled right or something like that. Like it was a lot of work to begin with, and then having more obstacles to hurdle over like made it like more complicated. Sean put in a lot of work and troubleshooting for the Mimic Prophecy EP, and honestly, he's done a lot of work.
Yeah, I know that
And we
a lot of
could've
work
done
goes
without.
into like really like music with a whole bunch of different stuff going on. I don't know if you guys have heard my stuff, but like it's insane, and I can only imagine how it is with like all the crazy time changes and all that shit happening. Like it's enough to make you want to bang your head up against the wall until you just die. So I can only
No.
imagine.
Let me just fangirl for a second, but holy shit. I've been looking for a band like The Sound That Ends Creation since I heard
Nigh Ungodly has joined the chat. Hey,
Hey, I just straight up switched to my phone, so I gave up with my computer.
Hey, it seems to be working.
oh
So
well, whatever works.
flip
hell
your
yeah.
phone sideways.
Is that
There
better?
we go. Yeah. Get you
Woo!
in here nice
Hell
and
yeah,
full.
Alright.
it's good to see you, baby.
This actually
so-
seems a lot better than what you were doing. So yeah, this is good.
Yeah, I was
Oh,
like,
yeah.
I'm gonna use my laptop and my microphone. It's gonna be awesome, and it wasn't.
Your microphone did sound better, but
There you go. Ooh, you handsome man.
All
Show
right.
me your dick.
All right.
So, what was I saying?
So Sean, how was the mixing and mastering experience for you?
All right, now that I can actually say something, it was a lot of work. Just straight up, the automation in itself was a pain. Making sure like each song flowed into each other properly. All the levels for each song were the same. Like not one song was louder than the other. Or same with like the kick in one song wasn't louder than the kick in the other song or something like that. But like I said, it was my first real stab at trying to mix something, much less like a whole EP. I've never really mixed anything before prior to that. So that
That's
was
a
really
really
my
good
first try.
dude for your first try. Holy shit, that's really good, man. Like for real.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Was there any like one plugin or whatever that like saved your life?
Howard Benson. Howard Benson.
The Howard Benson. I use that for my vocals along with gain
The
reduction
compressor,
as
right?
well.
Just to be clear, the compressor.
Yeah, the Howard Benson I used for compression and a little bit of EQ, but I did use my own kind of EQ to make sure that I could take out frequencies that were bothersome. And then, for certain effects, I would use Joey Sturgis gain reduction, like some of those lo-fi parts. That's what I would use for that. Other than that, is mostly the Howard Benson is what made my vocals sound like, I'm actually good at my job.
I have a question for Sean, actually, for the production of Mimic Prophecy. What
Sean?
did you end up doing finally for the guitars? Like, between tone I gave you and tone you ended up using, what'd you add or take away?
What I did was I used your tone and then I made one of my own and blended them.
Nice.
So I blended tones. I think for yours I used like a higher frequency. And then for the one that I made, I kind of put as a lower frequency to make sure like the guitar had a little oomph behind it, some balls and stuff. And then, for Cole, I think I used Easy Mix, which had some bass tones in that, which gave him a little extra drive. And for that, I put as a low frequency so that way the bass would have some punch. And then for his wet tracks, I gave a higher EQing so that way, you can actually hear what his bass is doing.
Dude, I love Easy Mix as well. Like, Tune Track puts out the best stuff, man. Easy Drummer, Easy Mix. I fucking love it, man. Did you use that for mastering as well, or did you have a different plugin for that?
I did, actually. I used, there was like a, I can't remember. It's like a metal master portion on it that I used for the mastering, but I did put, for that chain, I had an EQ, I had a limiter, a slight compressor, the Easy Metal Mix something or whatever, to kind of help make it a little bit wider.
Yeah, I think it's called Metal Super Wide. That's what I use as well. It's fucking dope.
Metal Super Wide.
So you guys did promotion with this going on with a Chug Collective and Beheading the Traitor. I've always wondered about these services, and now that I see that you guys are on here, I can talk to y'all about it. How did that all go for y'all?
Chug Core. That was
no, don't call them that now.
What are they
don't
now?
Call them that anymore.
I don't want to know. I don't want to.
If y'all want to talk about it, it's all good.
They used to be Chugcore, and then there was a scandal with the.
That's right.
Yeah,
I forgot about that. Okay.
So we tried it. We're calling it Chug Collective to move past it.
Gotcha.
They dropped him. They changed their name. We're beyond it. He's gone. Whoever else might have been a problem, I understand, is also not there anymore. So, like, let's not call him that.
But when we went and released through them, it was relatively easy. They didn't really give us any trouble. I'll say that.
Did you get a lot of attention for it?
I didn't pay that. I don't think we paid that much. We paid
no.
like
Did
$80.
You get a lot of attention? Like, did people come and like to your Facebook pages and stuff like?
Yeah, 1,500 people within 2 weeks or something.
It was insane.
Damn.
And we
it
went
definitely
from
brought in a lot of fans. That is for sure. I remember reading through the comments on that like the new people and just being like, oh, cool, very good.
Well, that's sick. I always wondered if they were like worth the money to use those kind of programs.
It is. We went from like 400 or 500 likes or something like that to 700 or 800 in 2 weeks. Like I said, 1,500 people saw it. It was a great service. I would pay for it again. Even the Chug Collective is fantastic.
It's definitely worth it with specific. It's definitely worth it for if they're large enough to give you like an audience or if they have a community of people that really follow. Like if it's something like super active.
Absolutely. Beheading the Traitor. I subscribe to them on YouTube, and it's like every other day or every day I'm getting 1 to 3 notifications that they're premiering something in 30 minutes, and almost every single time I like it. It's not always something I go back and search for a second time. It's not always something I go and look for. I'll be honest. I'm very transparent, but it's always good. They always put stuff out that's worth hearing at least once. And some of this stuff, if I hear another thing by that band that I also like, I'm definitely gonna go check out more. Like, and a lot of the stuff, sometimes I do go hit their Spotify and just listen to the whole thing or whatever. You know, it's they do great work too, Beheading the Traitor, and they do a lot of work. So
they were super easy to use too. Like all you had to do is pretty much email them and then choose when you wanted to release it, and that was that simple. That was it.
Sean, what were their options?
They could pretty much release like whatever you sent them, which was for us was, you know, the EP stream that I made. Then you could also release your music video through them. They would even make you an EP stream video for you as well. They had another one. I don't really quite remember what that was though.
They also had a lyric video option.
Oh yeah, a lyric video. That's right. Yeah.
Are they the ones that make the anime music videos?
I'm not sure.
I'm not sure. That'd be dope if they did, because I would definitely like an anime.
Yeah.
I know Shrine of Malice. Shrine of Malice has a couple tracks. I think it's with them, and it's like an anime. It's like where the music is synced with the anime clips.
I like those. So.
I like those too.
Aren't those called AMVs?
AMVs.
Yes.
AMAs?
That's right.
AMV, the V stands for video. AMA, I think the A stands for anime.
Yeah, anime music video or something like that.
No, something music. Anime something. Anime music video? No.
I
I
don't
think
know.
Sean. I think Cole's right.
So, what was the last album that you guys listened to?
Oh,
Let's
God.
let's
boy.
look at Spotify real quick here.
Literally, I just took a shower and I put on Irony is a Dying Scene by the Dillinger Escape Plan because I was coming on the cast that ends creation, guilty. and then it just played their tracks. But yeah, I put on specifically, I had to hear Pig Latin before I came and looked at Chris Deering, who kind of, forgive me for saying so, but you kind of look like Greg Puciato.
I guess.
No, not a lot. But like, if Greg Puciato always had that haircut, you kind of look like him.
Thank you.
If we're
He's a
talking,
handsome man.
if we're talking about like the legit last album that we like recently,
Yeah, legit last time. Don't say something cool just to look cool.
I'm pulling up the legitimate. Like, this is a lo-fi album that I found. It's
Put it more to
called-
your left.
It's called Eternal Champ by Sweet Valley. It's basically lo-fi, like lo-fi original songs, mixed with samples from stuff like Ocarina of Time and stuff like that. So I basically just I have some friends that got me like dummy interested into like Nintendo and Zelda themed lo-fi, and that's kind of like I like video games.
Yeah.
You know?
What about the rest of y'all?
Last night I decided to check out your album.
It's so good.
I thought it was pretty good. I liked the lyrics a lot. They kind of reminded me of Rixie Zixer, their Elements album.
I've never heard of them before.
They're like a kind of genty math metal band.
What's
their
the name
name
again?
is the Palindrome.
It's spelled RXYZYXR, and it's pronounced like Rixie Zixer or Rixie Zixer, something like that.
I've also
Okay.
heard Roxy Zoxer.
I actually emailed them, and they told me it was like Rixie Zixer or something like that, but I think they're from Sweden.
Well, what about you, Sean?
The very last thing I was listening to while I was at work was I have like a daily mix on my Spotify, and it was like a bunch of different stuff. I think the very last thing I was listening to was either a Cult of Lilith song or a Rivers of Nile song. Now, I know you said something about albums of the year, and I know that was years ago that came out, but I never listened to it until this year, and it's fantastic. It's just perfect. Like every single song is amazing on it. Man, it's easily something I'm going to buy when I get a chance.
Are you talking about Rivers of Nile?
Yeah, Rivers of
Okay.
Nile. Where Owls Know My Name is the album name.
That came out 2018. If I
Yeah, that came out 2 years ago. It took me 2 years to actually give it a listen, and I'm ashamed of it.
I've
You bitch.
I've seen their set on that. I've seen their set after they released that album about like 3 times now. So they're fucking fantastic.
You lucky bitch.
Yeah, you're so fucking lucky. I would love to see them.
Yeah, no, they're
What was
great.
the last band any of you went to see? What, Chris? What was the last album you listened to?
It's actually y'all's. We've been listening to y'all all day long, actually. Oh, I guess it's not an album. I guess they're EPs,
shit,
but
love
that still
you.
counts.
Love you. What do you think of Aberrant Silhouette?
Aberrant Silhouette. Oh, is that y'all's first
It
single?
was the
That's our
first single we
single,
had
yeah.
after Rising.
Okay, I actually didn't listen to that one. I listened to the 2 ones that y'all put out this year, and
That's the
I
one
listened to
you
the
probably
Christmas
like.
one once or twice.
You'd like that almost as much as Stygian as a whole.
Okay.
It's
The
the
product-
beginnings in 1716 or something like that, and it sounds like 1716. It's fun.
It's the production on it though is kind of lacking. I would honestly sometime would like to maybe go back and mix
Remaster,
it,
please, John. Remaster
remaster it.
now tonight.
Put me on
Not
it
right now. Yeah, but with Cole and Katie on it now.
right now.
We're just gonna redo all of our old songs.
Right
but
now!
We have to. It's important.
Send
It's
me the
important.
tabs.
We put out. Oh God, he's kidding.
Breaking out the axes.
So it's like. I don't remember. I'll have to break out the tab.
So,
like,
you mentioned
Anywho,
albums of the year. What would y'all albums of the year be?
Igor. Oh God, what's it called?
that's an interesting name for an album.
Eeyore?
I don't remember the name of the album, but it's the latest by Igor.
Yeah, Igor's pretty top notch.
It was
Oh,
like,
Igor. Okay. I thought you said Eeyore, like the character from Winnie the Pooh or whatever. I was like, what? That's bad.
No, it's
Okay.
kind of more so Igor, like Frankenstein's assistant.
the
Gotcha.
French dude. He's this French guy, and what I understand is he writes the music and gets featured artists, and he's had like Travis Ryan, and he's had opera singers and accordion players and etc. And he mixes everything in a live sort of sense. Like he does all these, he's got this circuit board of synths and modulators and EQs, and he does all this shit like essentially live and records these guys with these crazy songs, and it's avant-garde and it's mathcore and it's grind and it's classical and it's opera and it's jazz fusion and there's accordion and it's like,
That's crazy. Y'all are the second group of people I've had on here actually that have mentioned like Igor. So I guess I gotta check that shit out, man. I haven't gotten the chance to check out too many bands that I'm not interviewing, but that's one that I guess I need to check out.
if you don't, I'm gonna post a status about how much of a pussy you are.
Alrighty.
If I were to talk,
You're good, you're
if I
good.
were to talk about albums of the year, I have 2 that basically are like my one. So there's Defeated Sanity's release, fucking insane. It's
It
basically
is.
like it's way different than like anything else they put out because they're like, let's just do more weird shit. Like, it's not their most brutal album, but it's their most fucking weird album, and I love it. And then my second one, I'm actually gonna pull it out here. It's fucking Cytotoxins Nuclear Earth. My girlfriend actually bought their fucking
God.
care package. What shit's in here actually? So there's a
That's crazy.
patch, stickers, all cool stuff. But yeah, Cytotoxins Nuclear Earth, fucking stellar. Like I was a huge Cytotoxin fan for like a long ass while. Radiophobia is one of my favorite albums of all time. Just so fucking heavy, and Nuclear Earth just really delivered and just killed it. Such a good album, so good fucking songs, so fucking great.
I just heard that. I just heard it a couple of days ago. I'll be honest. I put it off for a long time, and it was not worth the wait. I wish I would have done it earlier. It was so fucking good.
So what about you, Katie? What's your album of the year?
I actually have not been listening to new music very much lately, but the Cytotoxin album is definitely a really good one.
Oh, yeah.
Catherine.
Like, I haven't listened to any new music at all. I've just been replaying stuff from 2019.
You know what? That's all right. Some people need to catch up a little.
I'm gonna have
There
to
was
say
a lot of good influences that year.
I'm gonna have to say Mimic Prophecy was the best.
Bitch! You know why you didn't write it though?
Nothing's stopping you from saying that.
Hey, wait. Just to be fair and very clear, she didn't write anything on that. And I'm not bragging. I wish she would have because she's fucking, her lead guitar would have been so tasty on that. But she's allowed to make that statement and she's not bragging, just to be clear.
Yeah, I'm actually not on that one at all. So
Live you will be though.
what's your favorite piece of gear? Is there something that you just use all the
Did
time
Sean-
that saves your
Did
life?
Sean go or did he go first with Cattle Do Cat?
Oh, I thought that
This
yours
is
was
my-
the one from 2018, the Rivers of Nile. Did you have one from this year?
Oh yeah, that's all he said.
it
He
was-
didn't say anything for
it
this
was,
year at all.
No, it was the Cult of Lilith album. They are a technical
Okay.
death metal
okay,
band.
okay.
Yeah, they're
Okay.
a technical death metal band
You
from
segued.
Iceland.
That's right. Sorry.
Yeah. And yeah, the vocalist is fantastic. Everything about that album is amazing. It's definitely worth checking out. I think it's their debut album that they put out this year through Metal Blade, and it's
Did they
yeah,
have
I would
EP
definitely.
before or something? I thought I saw a lot of music by them.
I honestly have never heard of them before they put that out, and I've been kind of like looking at the Metal Blade record label ever since they put out that 6 Feet Under song, and
That's what drove you to Metal Blade, was the 6 Feet Under song?
it was not what drove me, but it's what pretty
It's like,
much
dude,
let me
this
watch.
bangs. Let's see what the rest of this label puts out, man.
Feel free to roast Sean on that, please.
I was watching their YouTube because they kept putting that out and they kept turning the comments off. and
You know,
And
I'm
so
just
then
going to name 5 Metal Blade artists right now.
Who, me?
there's Cattle. There's yeah. Go ahead. No, go
I
ahead.
can name some.
You got it.
You can't be like that unless you can name 5 Metal Blade artists right now.
Blair was on Metal Blade.
the Black Dahlia murder,
Yeah.
I think Infrared.
Flesh God
Lamb of
Apocalypse.
God.
Flesh God? I don't know.
Are they? I feel like they are.
I don't
I
know.
don't know, man.
Wow.
I gotta keep up with my. We're looking at Unique Leader. If anybody's watching from Unique Leader or Artisan Era
There.
or Seasons of Mist,
Yeah,
hey,
guys, we're looking for representation. We wouldn't mind some.
Oh,
cough, cough, cough.
Now, Christian was right though when he was talking about y'all on the Mathcore Index. Like, definitely y'all should be picked up by one of these labels. Like, y'all are too good to just be out here doing this shit on your own.
My heart grew like 16 sizes that day. Chris is an absolute angel, and I just want to shout him out real quick. Oh my God, thank you so much, Chris, for all the love.
Oh, y'all deserve it. Y'all are great.
Well, thank you.
Thanks so much.
You so much. Thank you.
So we kind of went over it a little quickly, but what was your favorite piece of gear?
You know what? One of my album of the years was the God Awful Truth Memory
Fuck
Palace.
yeah, dude! Those guys,
insane.
hell yeah, they go, man. They
Holy
fucking go.
Shit. That was so good, and like I'm a big fan of like this coagulation of sounds, like this cacophony that comes together that creates something that you can fucking groove to anyway. It doesn't matter why you can groove to it, you just can. And they did that. They accomplished that precisely.
Hell yeah. So what's your favorite piece of gear that you guys use all the time?
My Ormsby Goliath 7-string.
Damn. That is really nice.
Orange.
Yeah. So, oh Jesus Christ. This is the Warwick Corvette rock band.
I like the unicorn sticker. That's what makes it anal is magic. Nice.
I get a little bit of wooting in me every time I play. And yeah, no, this is my favorite bass ever. I will literally like tell someone no. Like if they tell me to try any other brand like Dingwall or Kiesel, I'm literally like, no, I have Warwick. That's all I need. Because I have not played a bass that feels like more like comfortable for me. Like I have yet to try a bass that makes me feel love more than.
You know who I didn't like? Warwick guitars.
Huh?
I didn't like. I played a Warwick guitar and I didn't like it.
That's great.
No, but I've heard their basses and it's fucking top notch.
Yeah, I don't know anything about their guitars. I just know their basses are just like they.
Yeah,
just
I wasn't happy with it. I don't know. Maybe it wasn't set up right, but I wasn't crazy. It was only one experience with a Warwick guitar I'd like to add, but. And
I don't have to defend their guitars being a bass player, so I'm good.
True. The other piece of gear is Stone Age guitar picks I'd like to mention. Incredible work. The tone is in the stone. It's all attack. I've had to dial back the attack in instances because it's too fucking much. But like, it's incredible between tapping with it, right hand technique, ins and outs, hybrid picking, etc. It's beyond anything I've ever played with a pick. They're in Jazz 3 styles. They have regular styles. I've got another one in the other room I should have brought out, but
I would think that those would break your strings.
I have not.
That's wild, man. Oh, do they like wear down and shit?
I haven't broken a string in like 3 years. I don't I don't know what you mean.
Over here flexing on us. So, Katie, what you got?
I've got a BC Rich Mockingbird with a Floyd Rose and like a million knobs.
That is a million knobs.
I've got like a phase reverse switch and then 2 coil tap switches, so I can get some pretty cool clean tones with this thing. But it's got 7 strings and a Floyd Rose, so it's most BC Rich guitars I've played.
Oh my god, I'm so sorry. I didn't say out loud.
Most BC Rich guitars I've played are set up really poorly, but that one's pretty good.
Katie?
And I've also got this Schecter 8-string.
Ooh,
fancy.
With Tosin Abasi pickups, so that's pretty nice.
Them Tosin pickups.
Yeah.
Which one did you used to record with?
Is that Fisher's
Um,
Bullets? Tosin?
I used this one to record the leads on a Stygian Blue. It's got stock pickups, but they sounded decent. So
Yeah, honestly, your BC Rich sounded amazing when I was mixing that
Dude, the
together.
leads are so fucking cool too.
and I recorded a lot of rhythm on this thing, but we actually ran out of time, and Sean could not incorporate it into the final mix. So there's rhythm tracks that nobody's hearing out there.
Damn. All right, something for the future.
Maybe we'll do a remaster.
Sean, I know you're a vocalist, but do you have anything?
So I don't have nearly as much gear. I have a SM7B right here that I used for Stygian.
Okay.
Beforehand, I was using a discontinued MXL 500 or 5000, but this is a lot better than the mic I had beforehand. I can just put it right in front of my mouth instead of having to worry about the bounce back from the walls. I don't have to nearly worry about as much EQing as I did before. I mean, that's really about it. But yeah, that's fantastic. If any vocalist should probably definitely think about investing in one of these.
Also, I have a Dragon's Heart guitar picks. I don't know if you can see that. It's
Very
2.5
cool.
2.5 millimeters thick. It's a pretty good pick.
I was gonna say it looks thick as shit.
Yeah, it's like
There's
2.5
like
millimeters.
different shapes and options to choose from, all in the same pick. You just like shift your grip, and
Yeah,
it's
it's
like,
got like
oh, now I've got the sharp edge.
Oh,
pointy
that's
edge,
sick. I didn't even
the
notice
round
that.
edge.
Okay.
I always like pretty much exclusively use the sharp edge though.
Well, now you need to. It's high. What's it called? High attack.
So do you guys have any merch?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. So let me try and get up close for this.
Show it up, Lena.
The shirts.
Oh, let me see if I can make you full screen. There we go.
Yeah, that's art by Alberto Filipponi. He's pretty awesome.
That is tight.
He did all of our merch, or all of our artwork. Besides the shorts, he did the artwork for, like I said before, for every single and every EP that we put out yet. And then we've got these shorts. They come from small to extra large, and it's a run of I've got 26 pairs or something like that left. $30 a pop. The quality is the same on every single one. It's got pockets, and it's got drawstrings, and I lived in them for easily the first 2 weeks that I had them. 2 weeks. And,
I believe it was Maxwell Ashton. Was it
Maxwell Aston.
Aston, of Maxwell Aston Art and Raphael Art. I forget her last name. I apologize. I have terrible short-term memory, but Raphaela and Maxwell Aston Art. Maxwell was in charge of this design, and he did great. I won it at auction, which was cool. He does art auctions a lot, and his work is incredible. Definitely something to look for, as well as Alberto's art for the shirt. As I said, both incredibly comfortable as well.
Oh, they look sick. Like, why'd y'all decide to go with shorts? It seems like that's a thing that the bigger bands do. You know, that they're more expensive to get made and everything. Or
That's
just another
true,
shirt
but
design.
it's also like one of those things where, like, I always wish that I could get basketball shorts from bands that aren't as big, and it was like one of those decisions where, like, well, what if we roll out shorts before we roll out like a bunch of this other shit that we should? And well, let's take a chance on it, because like I said, like, I always wish that I could go and get shorts from bands that nobody ever knows, and like that's always what I look for first, is like cool shorts, cool leggings, cool long sleeves or baseball tees. I'm not looking for a basic ass crew neck T-shirt. Like, yeah, the fucking $20 Hot Topic shit is cool, but I'm a grown up, and
I can't go in Hot Topic anymore.
Do y'all?
We got
for people who like Hot Topic shirts, we will roll out several. Absolutely, it's something I adore, but it's just like we wanted to get things that, like, we want to do beanies, we want to do this and that, and we want to do windbreakers and shit, and like things that the mathcore community really grabs up, and things that like the deathcore community grabs up really fast. Hoodies and sleepwear, pajamas, and stupid shit. Like, I would love to have Mimesis as a QP, like, little fucking baby Mimesis doll as pajama bottoms, like in double XL, like with the drawstring. Like, that's what I want to wear in the house.
we got the shorts.
Oh, sorry.
We got the shorts just in time for winter, so that's cool.
We got the shorts at the end of summer. I don't want to hear it.
Cricket Slam says he wants to see underwear from you guys. Like,
we'll
you
still
guys
have them.
I mean,
with your band on it, with your logo, with your band logo on
Does
it.
he want panties?
Not your underwear.
or like boots?
I'm not stripping down on camera.
Do we want panties or briefs? Like,
I mean, I made a suggestion about banana hammock merch.
who?
Banana hammock?
Banana hammock merch. Yeah, banana hammocks. We'll sell banana
What?
hammocks.
What is that? Oh.
And they're basically man thongs.
Yeah.
Yeah, the ones that go over your shoulders and down to your gooch and then cover your junk.
Yeah, I think Aaron Kitcher from Infinite Annihilator wear one in a video?
I think
Yeah,
so.
he did.
I think it was their Chelsea Grin cover or something. Was that it?
It was the Pray for Plagues cover.
Yes, that was it. Yeah,
No.
okay.
So do you guys have physicals of the EPs?
We'd like to. We'd actually love to pose a question to the fans, like, what kind of format would you like to see it in? Would you like vinyls? Would you like just the digipacks, which would be cheapest for us and cheapest for you? Would you like actual jewel cases with a booklet, etc.? Like, what is your ideal form of Mimic Prophecy physical or Stygian Blue physical? Would you be cool if we just put out the Digipack? Because that's kind of the direction we were going to go in. Those are the questions that we have for the fans.
I like how y'all forego the physicals and you get shorts. The CDs would come first, but that's cool. That's cool. Go in a different direction. I like it.
I want to say that I'm super.
You gotta dress to impress.
A few people own the shorts, and it's me, Cole, and my friend Brian. So
The shorts are dope,
the shorts are incredible, and I wish people would buy them. I've only ever shipped one item, and it was one pair of shorts to Cole. So let me get some experience shipping items to you. Buy our shorts, please.
Cricket Slam says he would love boxers and he'd love a jewel case with the Mimic Prophecy poster in it, or the Mimic Prophecy poster in it.
Jewel case.
Ooh, poster.
Instead of a booklet. Is that cool?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I'm done with it. Alberto Filipponi's art has been a staple to our music for a while now, and I would love to incorporate it in our merch as much as possible. From what we've had so far, we do intend on incorporating a lot of other artists' work in the future. That does mean we're going to slow down purchasing from Alberto. We still do support him, and we will still be going to him in the future. That's a promise. But for now, we're gonna look at some other artists for the LPs. We're gonna look at some other artists for some of the art. We've had a logo from what was the gentleman's name?
Mike Lowry.
Mike Lowry.
He was a he
He's
did
done a
our
lot of
original
work
logo.
on the first logo, the one that's on the shirt. Actually, this logo.
I like your
Mike
new one a
Lowry.
lot better. Your new one is so much better.
He does great work. This, like, we added outlines, etc., and then digital printing. So of course it doesn't look as great on camera, especially after transferring it through Wi-Fi and etc. But definitely check out Mike Lowry. He does great work. We've got art from Maxwell Aston, Alberto Filipponi, and then Damos, Lil Blades. He spells the A with a V. He does like rap stuff. He does also metal production. He's in a band called Boxing Helena, etc. He did our latest logo, which I'm extremely proud of. We love the design. We love the direction.
Way better than what you had before.
It's got the crosses. He also did a version that has circuitry, and we haven't rolled it out. We haven't had a reason to. But our LPs do encompass a lot of sci-fi elements, so that might be something we roll out in the future. I don't know about the other three members of the band. I guess I'll find out right now, but I would hope to have the logos carry out throughout the LPs and then possibly afterwards change it up. So those are all the things we're shopping for. Feel free to visit our page and send the band page messages so that we can get in touch with you, learn your names, figure out who's selling what, who specializes in what kind of art. We spend a lot of money on art. We like it.
Did we say anything?
What?
Did we say anything about any of the future music yet?
No, we haven't discussed it one bit. I thought that'd be a good segue.
Yeah,
if you guys would let me pee before you talked about that and talk about something different for like 2 seconds.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're just casually talking about LPs as if you already understood what we're talking about.
So you got new shit coming out then? Or
We're
in the
working on
works?
it, yes.
How far along are you guys?
We're right now we're kind of taking like a holiday break because we just put out those 2 EPs and we figured, well, we kind of earned a little bit of a break, a little bit of a rest, kind of take this time to promote the music that we already have, help maybe promote that Christmas song that we just did, and also within this time maybe take our time with some of the writing. Like Vanna was saying, we're working on an LP, but that's not just one. We're actually working on a triple LP. So there'll be 3 albums. Each of them will be about 10 songs. And they all have their own little themes going on about them, but they are still a little bit related. But prior to that, we are looking to release a Doom song still. Are we still doing that? We haven't really talked about the Doom song in a while.
God. All right. Let me come clean.
I'm going to the restroom now.
So I posted the status because I got all enthusiastic about Mirror Reaper by Bell Witch. I just like to say that album, it's one song. It's like 100 or it's like 80 minutes or something like that. 79 minutes or something. And it's all one continuous song. And it's doom, and it's not sludge, but it's definitely doom. And it's better than like Dope Smoker by Sleep. I didn't like it. But like these are the same kind of like concepts as like one long song that's just doom metal for like an hour and 20 minutes or so. And so the idea was started with like maybe a 20-minute song, and it was like a joke. And then I was like, no, dude, I could easily sit down and do this for like 5 minutes at a time. I could produce 5 minutes worth of song each time I sit down. Is everybody there?
Yeah.
I'm here.
Katie went to the bathroom.
Oh, because everybody got super still for a second, and I thought my shit froze. So anyway, so I was like writing this shit that was like and like I was like, okay, so it's like, and then I built this tone on Neural DSP's Nolly plugin, Nolly from Periphery, Nolly Get Good or whatever his name, Adam Get Good Nolly or whatever. He plugin with Neural DSP, and I built this really super sludgy tone that's like super high gain, and like that plugin specializes in low gain, so it was an adventure to get that tone. So like I was like, all right, I gotta build the whole fucking album around this tone. And so I built this riff, and I was like, okay, sweet. And so I sent like 6 minutes or something like that to the band, and I was like, can we do this? And they were like, yeah, sure, it sounds cool, it sounds like Nigh, and sounds like something we can pull off. So like I posted a status about what if Nigh Ungodly wrote a sludge doom song, and like enough people responded well to it, and I was like, all right, we're doing it.
When you were talking about doing that,
What's up?
When you were talking about doing that, some of the stuff, like when I heard it, I was like, are we about to sound like Nightfall? Because that's kind of how that's looking like, because they are kind of doomy.
It does kind of sound like Nile, except less techy, for sure.
So y'all are gonna do 3 albums then? That's the plan? Like 3 albums at once, or?
Yeah, 10 per. And the first song to the 10th song of each album is going to be continuous. It'll be like Colors, except also it'll have one continuous theme through the lyrics.
But y'all don't mean like dropping 3 albums at one time. Like you mean spacing them out over years?
No. We're going to write them as they come out.
Okay,
so like,
okay. I was like, wow, that's really ambitious. Like, geez.
The first one is half done right now, and then we have the first song of all 3 conceptualized, tabbed out, etc. And then when the 10th song of the first album is written and finalized, and everybody's happy with all 10 songs, tracking will begin, and the composition of the second album will start at the same time.
Okay.
And then hopefully by the time we're done tracking, mixing, and mastering the first one, like give or take 2 or 3 months, we'll have at least 3 to 5 songs of the second album conceptualized in tablature, and then continue that same deadline process of trying to loose deadline all 3 albums in a row, with maybe 8 to 12 months in between their releases.
Okay.
Hey Vanna, I'm pretty sure earlier Sean said Nightfall, not Nile.
Nightfall, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Nightfall. Oh, my bad.
Yeah, they're a pretty cool
Anyway,
band.
it's got big time Nile influences otherwise. Especially in key signature and tone, and for sure.
So that's all I had. Is there anything else you wanted to bring up? Oh, sorry.
I was just going to say, like, this time around with the triple LP, I probably won't be doing any of the mixing. I'll be sending it off to somebody else to take care of all that. It's going to be a lot faster, take a lot of pressure off of me for mixing 3 LPs. So that's probably how that's going to go about.
Well, I mean, you did the first one. The first one's like the hard one to like get all your settings corrected, right? And now you just pop it in, right?
That was the EPs.
I mean, yeah, those were the EPs. Like, if this would be like a full-length featured album, and I want it to sound as professional as possible, and while all that's happening, I'd like to
as well, like big time features. Couple important people. I don't know if because we haven't spent any money yet, so it wouldn't be wise to mention names, but like there's a list of artists that we're looking at features from, and it's like pretty intense already. I mean, when you have enough members,
have quite a few vocalists.
Yeah, when you have enough members, it's easy to look at big scale things, you know, when you're a one man band, I'm sure it's not as easy to be like, well, let's get fucking Ben Weissman to come do a guitar thing on my album, you know.
Well, yeah, I don't know if I would be trying to get him. I'm sure he wouldn't even talk to me, honestly.
He did Draft Tongue Orchestra, and I feel like he's for the people. I'm sure you could get a hold of him.
So that's all I had. Is there anything else I wanted to bring up?
I don't got anything. I'm good.
Alrighty.
I think I'm good.
That's about the size of it. Like don't forget, we've got the shirts and we've got the shorts and we've got music coming. We've got the Last Christmas remix. 'Tis the season.
Yep.
Don't forget the.
We have that deal going on our Bandcamp. Don't forget.
Oh yeah, 40% off, right? 940 on the Bandcamp.
Yeah.
That's
Our
nightungodly.bandcamp.com.
$7.20.
Yeah, I took part in that actually. That's when I downloaded your shit.
Thank God. When you're
Yeah,
done here, you better go check this out. Check out Aberrant Silhouette, please. And then tell me what you think of it.
I will. So if you guys dig tech death but are looking for something a little bit different, check out Mimic. Oh, what's up?
Hey, check out. We've got. Anytime anybody would like to request a tablature for any song that's been released, please come to us directly. We will be trying to put out tab stuff as we go, but feel free to contact us. Everything's in Guitar Pro 7, the latest version, whatever the 0.5, 0.4 bullshit is. It's all Guitar Pro logged, and we can send PDFs, we can send Guitar Pro stuff, anything that's been released and produced. We're not going to be so gracious with things that haven't been released yet unless we're really close friends, like Chris, if you ever want tabs for anything that's unreleased, etc. Certain people, you know who you are already. You can come to us for future stuff, but definitely for stuff that's already been released, feel free to hit us up. Anybody will send it to you. GP5 exports, GP7 exports, PDFs, audio files of the MIDIs, instrumentals, whatever you want. Like, we're going to be setting up a Patreon page probably within the next couple of months. It's been discussed several times. We haven't really decided all the details for it yet, but it's something that we're going to make available for there. So why not in the meantime for the closest fans who've watched this or have tried to get in touch with us before? Those things we're going to make available for you now anyway. If you hit us up, we'll send it.
Alrighty. And with that, if you dig tech death but are looking for something a little bit more adventurous, check out Mimic Prophecy and Stygian Blue. 2 EPs dropped this year by Nigh Ungodly. You guys are on Spotify, all the streaming sites. You're on Bandcamp, Instagram, Facebook. I believe y'all are on Twitter, correct, right?
Yes.
Twitter?
Okay. We have one. It exists.
I'm the same way. Twitter's really difficult to navigate for me anyways.
What is Twitter?
We have like one post on there.
So for me, drop a follow on my channel so you always know when I go live. Find me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. YouTube folks, if you like the video, please drop a like, subscribe, tickle notification bell. Check out my music, The Sound Ends Creation. My Christmas EP, Merry Christmas, You Filthy Animal, drops on Friday. Metal Injection's currently streaming it, and there's limited merch for it up on my Bandcamp. My next guest is Femur, mathcore band from Canada. Join us this Sunday, 7 p.m. Central, right here at twitch.tv/The Casa Ends Creation for the live cast. Thanks for being here, guys. Hope y'all had some fun.
Hey,
Thanks for
man.
having us.
Thanks for
It
having
was
us.
awesome.
Thank you so much.
And thank you for watching and listening.